Welcome to the National Glazing Solutions Film Lab. This is where we get to show you what a proper wet glaze attachment system looks like on a window, and then a proper attachment system for a door. Because again, not all attachment systems are suitable for all doors and windows, and that's critical to understand, and that's why we're doing this educational piece. And here to help me demonstrate this is our senior technical advisor and senior project manager, Scott Burns. So Scott, let's talk a little bit about exactly what you're going to show the audience today.
We're going to talk about three things here. We're going to talk about tools, techniques, and products.
Awesome. Well, let's go to it.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the National Glazing Solutions instructional video on how to install heavy gauge safety and security films such as the Tri-Shield forced entry protection system developed in partnership with Matico Safety and Security Films. Matico is a leader in the world of safety and security films for bomb blast and forced entry mitigation. Here today I have with me is Scott Burns, our senior project manager and in-house technical consultant who has developed a fantastic system for wet glaze application on windows, which he's going to share with us today so you can be a pro out there in the field and get accredited to install our Tri-Shield system. So Scott, let's talk a little bit about some of the tools we have. This is the kit, if I'm correct,
That's correct,
that you need for heavy gauge safety films and wet glaze attachments. So why don't you walk us through each one of these tools here so the viewers here know what we're talking about.
Well, you're going to need a battery-powered caulk gun. This will be the biggest purchase that you make. It's about $275, but this is a must if you're serious about this system. You'll have your Dow Corning 995, which is your attachment caulking. You'll need 1.88 or 2-inch tape for the system. There is no other size that's recommended. 1.88 or 2-inch. Of course, you'll need a tape measure. There's a little jig that we use to get the right size caulk bead, which I'll show you in a minute. We have a few different squeegees. We have the heavy gauge T-squeegee, the Thor handle, Blue Max squeegee, and of course the homemade squeegees. This is a favorite. You're going to need a trowel, which you can buy these at Home Depot, $6 or $7. You'll need a grinder that you can get Home Depot or Harbor Freight. And then this is the tool after you make it. This is what it'll look like when you're using it.
Why don't you show the viewers there exactly what that looks like and how that creates. You can see here, this is a almost perfectly tooled, it looks like an extruded rubber gasket. This is what you want the finished product to look like. This is after it's been taped and then tooled. And Scott, why don't you show how critical it is, that trowel. And you see how that trowel clears the caulk off there? And you're gonna see that when we do an actual live demonstration here in a minute.
This is the Goldwing press tool when you're doing doors, which is a Z-channel, which you'll see in a little bit as well. And you're going to need some rubbing alcohol and some paper towels. And outside of that, James, I mean, that's pretty much all you need for a successful install.
You ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir.
Ready to get this going?
Let's
okay.
do it.
Let's go wet glaze some windows.
Now we're going to do a quick run through the installation of the Tri-Shield system. First and foremost, we've got to get the oil off of the frame. Paper towel, rubbing alcohol, poke a little hole in the cap, wipe it off. This removes any oils from the aluminum prior to installing the tape. Next, you'll use your Sharpie with your pencil that's going to give you the 1/2-inch measurement needed to fit the spec. The corners are very important. You almost want to create a crosshair so that the tape lines up perfectly in the corners. Repeat on the frame. Next, get your 1.88 or 2-inch tape. Now when you're doing this, there's a certain way that it has to be taped on here. You tape it in one section, that way when the caulking goes on, you can remove it the exact opposite in one motion, which eliminates any mess. Now, as you can see the crosshair right here, this is going to be your starting point. Take your tape, cut it at a little bit of an angle, like so. Take the point, line the crosshair up with the point of the tape. it's important to line the tape up with the outside edge of the Sharpie mark. This way, once you install the caulking, it will cover the mark up and you won't have marks all around the window. Do not put the corner down because this will be the last part that you have to install. Next, make your angle the opposite. Install across the top. Once you get the window to this point, it's time to install the caulking. I normally get some paper towels, fold them over, and put them in your back pocket. It's important when you're tooling the film to make sure you apply enough pressure to score the tape, but do not go through it. This will allow for proper separation from the caulking and leave a nice finished bead. Now you have successfully installed the attachment system. Next, I'm going to show you the proper squeegee technique when installing heavy gauge security films like the ones used with the Tri-Shield system. Okay. Now that the film is on the window, I want to show you a new technique that does away with the old T squeegee technique, just side to side. Once you have the film set, then you want to apply as much pressure as you can in a straight line while holding it at an angle so that no water goes back over top of the squeegee.
Now that Scott's demonstrated the proper technique, we just want to review so that you understand that you have to make 2 passes, overlapping strokes on an angle with the proper equipment to ensure that you have no excess water or excess water pockets behind for maximum adhesion and visual quality. As you can see, there's no excess water visible behind this film. This is critical, and this is a critical part in installing the Tri-Shield safety system and other heavy gauge security films.